Hey, and welcome back for Hunting Mirages vlog number 18 for April 20, 2020. And what's new for me this week is that I got my masters back from Volcor X. So I now have completed recordings in my hot little hands, which brings up the question of what am I going to do with them? What's next? And which isn't necessarily easy to answer, because I got them mastered thinking, well, this is something I haven't done before. I'd like to see what it's like to get things mastered. And now that I've got it done, I'm like, oh, I actually have to do something with these recordings now. And now that I've spent a bit of money actually getting them, sounding good, it kind of begs the question of what I'm going to do with them. And so, I've got a whole bunch of things that have been coming together. We've got individual videos made for each of the tracks. And speaking of individual videos, I meant to push play on that. There we go. Videos. And I've got individual videos made. I've got a video made for the whole live performance, which is just, the individual videos put together. And so, I've been talking about, with my partner who does a lot of my video production, what exactly are we going to produce with all of this material? And so far, the decision is that I'm still working on doing the live performance. All the work on the videos is really to support that live performance, but now those videos actually have two destinations. One is, a film clip for the actual finished master, and the other one is, a backdrop for a live performance. And what I'm intending to do is, when the live performance videos are done, then we can intercut the live performance with the video content in order to make a film clip. So I'll have like individual single song film clips for those masters that the audio is just the master recording, and the film clip has the video and some live performance footage cut in as well. So I'll have individual clips for each of those, for each of the songs. And then I'll have the actual live performance, which I'll only put up as one big long performance of like an hour-long video of me performing all of those songs. And that will still be intercut with different camera angles and intercut with the video as well. So there's that project. But then, what else am I going to do? Am I going to do a CD? And this came up, Volcor X was asking me as I was getting the masters done. He was like, are you going to make a CD out of this? Because I can make you a CD master file that you would send to a production facility to have CDs made. And I thought, oh, I don't really know if that's what I want to do, because the intention of this project was that it's a dry run, really. It's a practice run. These songs are not my final form. It's not really what I want to call my debut album. But then the fact that it's a dry run means that everything's on the table, because everything that I might do with this is good practice for next time. And that's been the rationale for everything that I've done so far. And that rationale sort of continues to apply, really. So I would like to get some t-shirts made just because I have some ideas there. So I'm thinking CDs and a t-shirt, maybe. Definitely video clips on YouTube and the master recordings on SoundCloud. And yeah, I definitely like to think about proper distribution to get these recordings out to places like Spotify, Apple Music, etc. Since they are properly mastered recordings now, so there's no reason not to put them on as wide distribution as I possibly can. But that does bring up an interesting thing, because some of you may be wondering, where did I get all these videos from? How come I can use these videos? I didn't talk about having them commissioned or whatever. Or making them myself, because there's a lot of awesome video content here. And the answer is I get these from, there's an artist called Beeple. He's fairly well known in the VJing and electronic music communities because he's made an absolute ton of these video clips that he makes available for free via Creative Commons. And that's an interesting little synergy that I've been using these Creative Commons videos for my project because quite a long time ago now, it was about 5 years ago, I was pretty heavily involved in the Pirate Party. That's the political party that is about intellectual property rights in the internet age. And I'm fairly pro Creative Commons. I'm not politically, I'm not someone who is very happy with the way that our IP and copyright system works. I think it's unnecessarily heavy-handed and heavily slanted towards record labels and big corporate use, exploitation of copyrights. And I could go down a great big long rabbit hole there about what all that's about. But suffice it to say that because of my prior involvement in those things, I am very interested in releasing my own music under Creative Commons. And and a number of years ago, I was heavily involved in the Pirate Party. I even stood for the Australian Senate, as a candidate in the Senate for the Pirate Party Australia in 2016. And after that, I got out of being involved in pirate politics and what have you. And one of the main reasons is because being involved in that actually took me away from working on my music and my project. And I was trying to think about how I would reconcile the two, and I realized that the most important thing that I could do for, my copyright, political advocacy was to actually be an artist who released material without needing copyright to actually be successful. And I'm finally actually at the point now, so many years later, where the rubber can actually hit the road with regard to that particular idea. And I've got stuff now. I've got stuff that's mastered. I've got material I want to release, and this is the time when I really need to start thinking about releasing it under Creative Commons and trying to put together a strategy that doesn't actually require copyright enforcement. And so that's definitely going to be part of it. The fact that I've used these Creative Commons clips as part of my project is actually a really good demonstration of the value of Creative Commons, because I'm here doing important creative work, and yet I still need other material that I can't necessarily produce myself. And being able to use a Creative Commons material means that I can participate in this shared body of work. And I can also offer something that I'm doing as well to the Creative Commons. And so I'm on the cusp of deciding that all of this material will be Creative Commons. It'll be for free. And and as I think about that, I'm like, oh gee, I hope I don't limit myself in some way, because as someone who's grown up in the copyright, the current copyright system as we know it, it's still it's difficult to let go of that and to think that because the current copyright system as it is really encourages like a scarcity mindset around the value of your work and how you can extract the value from that work. The idea being that nobody can use your work in any way unless they've paid you, and and that they have an agreement with you directly. And for many reasons, again, which I won't get into too much, for many reasons it actually not only does it prevent people from using their own data in many ways that matter to them, but it also prevents the artist from really connecting with the fan, because if you're always putting toll gates in front of everything you do, it's a constant downer on people engaging with your work. And what I've found through involvement with the Pirate Party and what have you, and researching a lot of cases there, is that by and large, when people offer their give away their work for free, it is repaid in kind by your fans and by your community. And I genuinely believe in that principle, but now it's time to actually see if it works as I've always said it would. And and you still have that little, it's difficult to let go of these things and not just go for the the typical copyright road. And really that's just fear of the unknown. But I think it's exciting. It's exciting to do something different. And so I'm going to be releasing all my work under Creative Commons. I will probably go with a Creative Commons attribution license, which means that I would still like to be credited as the artist whenever anybody else uses my work. However, I'm looking forward to the idea that when people do use my work and credit me, that will bring a lot more attention to my work, and that attention will actually be of great value. And that it will then be up to me as an entrepreneur to turn that attention into a genuine fan base who are happy to support me in whatever way they would like to do it, whether it's through micro patronage like your Patreon style thing, or whether it's through buying my physical product because they want to support me and they want to have a souvenir of being involved with what I'm doing and helping me to make more, or being part of my fan club, being part of a special community of fans. There's all sorts of things that I could do that don't involve requiring people to pay for my work before they can enjoy it. And so that's what I'm going to be doing. Now, as for the timing and schedule of these things, it's still not clear. Like I said, this is all up in the air, and I'm trying to figure out exactly what I really want to do with all of this. I could just put the masters up now on SoundCloud and say, hey, here's something, and then in another 4 to 6 weeks, maybe put the videos up on YouTube, and then maybe another couple of months after that, there's physical product available. Or I could wait until it's all ready and drop it all at once. And I honestly, after doing the coaching course with Mike Monday, where he was, he made a very big point about that the idea of like the Big Bang release is a very last century notion. The idea you have to have everything ready at once and you build up all this hype and then you just release and there's a big bang. And then you've got like a tail of interest, and then once that initial big bang kind of tails off, that's it. But these days, with streaming and internet and constant interaction between artists and fans, there's actually a really good argument for trickling content out over time, so that you've always got something new that you're presenting and you're keeping people engaged. So, and that's a interesting thing to think about as well. And again, it's really easy to slip back into the Big Bang thinking, the idea that you have to build up all of this stuff for this one release moment when it's just all done at once. And then you go quiet again for another couple of years. And academically, rationally, I understand that, it makes much more sense to release little bit by little bit over time, because it keeps people engaged and it keeps people coming back, and people can see what you're doing. I probably should put these masters up now, just as they are, just the recordings, because it's the end of this period of work that I've been talking about on my vlog about getting masters done. And then I can, we can have the discussion about the video project, and then I show the videos. And then, I eventually get the live performance up, and then I can discuss making the physical products like t-shirts and CDs, and then make them available. And that way there's like a, constant content and interesting things to engage with going on with my channel for, 6 to 9 months or so, instead of nothing other than these vlogs for a bunch of months, big bang, all this stuff becomes available, and then nothing for probably, other than these vlogs, for probably like another year, while I put together an entire new project, do all the recordings and what have you, get the masters done, make the videos, make the CDs, get all the physical, and then have another big bang. Maybe 2 years down the road. And I'm certainly, as I'm doing all of this, I'm really coming to understand why it can be so long between albums for a lot of bands. Because it's when you have no idea what a band does or what goes on behind the scenes, and a band releases an album and then they don't release another one for like 3 to 5 years, and you think, well, what were they doing? I'd love to buy another album. Why don't they just make one? And it's easy to see that under the Big Bang model, where you need to gather as much stuff as you can so that you can release it all at once in a big flurry of activity in order to try to get as much attention as possible. That if that is your strategy, that it's going to take a long time to put all of that stuff together. And so, just trying to think about those two things and think about where do I draw the line between, do I just put up these masters straight away as they are, streamable? Don't know. Or rather, I should say, I do know that I should probably put up material frequently and not hold things. But it's difficult to really embrace that when it's just not what you used to. But such is the life of a music business entrepreneur, which I think is what people really need to think of themselves as if you're trying to make it as a music artist in this day and age. So that's my update for this week. Thanks for watching, and looking forward to sharing these masters with you all soon. Cheers. Have a good one.